Good evening, everyone. Time for episode 14 of The Last Admiral. It's January 23rd, 2022. Some notable historical events on this day, January 23rd, include in 1922, insulin was first used to treat diabetic patients. In 1933, the 20th Amendment to the Constitution is ratified, establishing terms for federal officials. In 1964, the 24th Amendment to the Constitution, which removed the right to vote in federal elections on the basis of a poll tax. In 1973, U.S. President Richard Nixon announces peace with honor in Vietnam. And in 2012, Felicity Aston became the first woman to complete a solo crossing of Antarctica after skiing over 1,084 miles in 59 days. Some notable birthdays of January 23rd include Rutger Hauer, Randolph Scott, and Mariska Hargitay. Okay, we'll start up again with our story on page 109. Okay. Lanu, Phu's father, was chief of the islanders. Possessing a powerful barrel-shaped chest, he wore only a loincloth and numerous tattoos. His hair was short-cropped and gray, his eyes sharp and insightful. With huge, calloused hands, he invited Wraith to take his seat at the dinner table. Wraith already knew much of their culture and respectfully refused. "I insist," Lanu bid. "You are our honored guest." Wraith knew nothing of their tongue, but he got the gist of it. "Then I will sit beside you." Lanu was pleased, for the stranger had passed the first test. One by one, Phu's family arrived at the table. He and his wives served each person in turn. No one ate, neither Wraith nor the children, until everyone received their food, and Lanu had invited each member of the family in turn to eat. Anna, Phu's youngest niece, asked Lanu to eat last of all. It was a ritual as old as their nearly extinct nation, built upon a system of respect and love for one's elders that resonated through all. Among the people, for that is what they called themselves, family came first. Wraith knew much of their ways, but he had never been as close among them as he was now. Lanu knew Phu's story, of the demon, and of the death of his friends. He studied their visitor, and in his wisdom, he knew that Wraith was far more than he seemed. They ate their fill, talked of simple things, and laughed at the children's antics. Anna brought Wraith her pet chicken in a box, and began talking to him excitedly. And the footnote is the prefix is a shortened phonetic adaptation of the Vietnamese word for old gentleman, which is spelled more like ong, and is used in referring to someone of your grandfather's age, or a person of high social prominence. It is used throughout the book as the islanders' honorific title for Lanu, who was also their tribal chief. Okay. In the islanders' language, Phu interpreted for her, saying, "This is Mehi. The other chickens keep pecking at her. I don't want her to die." "I know how he feels," Wraith sympathized while showing interest in her bird. "I wish that I had a girl like you to care for me when I was a boy." Mehi is a phonetic adaptation of the Vietnamese word for America. Okay. She giggled, cradling her chicken, who seemed to be quite content in his box. "Okay, mister," she said while hugging him with her free arm. "I have to go now." "Okay, little one," Wraith answered. After dinner, the men remained at the table. Lanu lit his pipe and passed it between them, offering it first to his guest. "Why do you seek this demon?" he asked. "Fu has a reason for revenge, but I wish to know your purpose before allowing my son to risk his life with you." "I have no wish to put him in danger, Lanu," Wraith assured, using the people's own word for senior man or elder. "This man is a threat to everyone on the island. He is here to kill the young Master Vlad. These are troubles of your world, not ours. We have suffered enough. It is true that Dragonia owes a great debt to the people for its injustice, but there are many things at stake. If Fu cannot go with me to identify this man, then perhaps he can describe him to me so that I may have a chance of finding him." Lanu grumbled and asked, "If Fu shows you this demon, will you be able to defeat him?" "I believe that I can, but I cannot promise it." Lanu was above all things wise, and he well knew that the Baron Aklon had saved them from ultimate destruction. The terrible memories of those years still returned to him, nightmares of death, burning, and lingering screams from his childhood. He also understood that Aklon's heir was the only hope for his family's future. Within the protective confines of the Baron's lands, his loved ones had once again found peace, and their numbers were growing once again. Lanu knew just how quickly that could change if his protectors were killed. "I will allow Fu to decide. He has long been his own man. I will go with you." "You need not face him with me," Wraith explained. "Help me to identify him, and I will meet him myself." "I know that this demon might kill me," Fu said, "but I will stay with you until this quest is over, or until we both are dead." Lanu held back his tears of pride. His own heart was afraid as well, because Fu had given his word. They never broke such promises, unless some terrible mishap occurred, or their own deaths prevented it. "I am honored," Wraith replied. "I give you both my vow that I will do everything that I can to keep you away from danger. This man is treacherous, deadly, and well trained. I have faced others like him before, but that was long ago. You may help, but in the end, I must meet this man alone, or he will try to use you against me. Do you understand?" "Yes," Fu answered. "You are saying that if I face him with you, that I will surely die, and you may die because of it." "Yes," Wraith replied. "But there is no shame in it. You are a fine warrior, but he is an experienced killer. You are young and not even in your prime. I am over 500 years old. In another land, men such as he feared and respected me. Only the sum of all my experience and training might allow us to prevail. However, you have other knowledge and skills that we need. You know the island better than I do. We will combine our abilities, and if we are lucky, then we will catch this spider." "When do we leave?" Wraith contemplated the assassin's most likely strategies and said, "The assassin believes that Vlad will travel along the East Road and join the rest of his comrades for their celebration in the market. He may choose to strike at him anywhere along the way. If I were to guess, he will perform his work during the celebration itself, 2 nights from now, when the revelry will be at its peak. Then we must leave now, or we may be too late." "Say your goodbyes," Wraith instructed. "We will travel swiftly, but not recklessly. We must see this man before he sees us." "Hien will see you as far as the road," Lanu directed. "Thank you," Wraith said. "Prepare your people. If I should kill the assassin, then there may be repercussions. Stock the secret caves with supplies and prepare your defenses." Lanu understood. "Our warriors are few, but we will be ready." Fu said farewell to his parents and to Hua and Song, his sisters. His many nieces and nephews hugged him and wished him good luck. Hien took up his spear and traveled with them. The three men took off at a trot, crossing over the vibrant green pasture lands of their home, passing near Centurio Domus, and finally reaching the east road near sunset. Hien and Fu clasped wrists in farewell. I wish that I could go with you. You must stay and protect our family. I'll watch out for him, Hien, Wraith promised. See that you do, Elder Elf, Hien replied with a smile. His eyes were serious, alight with both emotion and purpose. I will look for you in 4 days' time. If you haven't returned by then, I will find you. Leaving them without goodbye, Hien began the long run home, a second 5-mile run across the country. The people possessed legendary stamina, and Hien could run 20 miles a day for several days with little rest. He ran among the cows and the sheep, past goats and other wildlife, anxious to return home to his wife and children. Fu's courage made his heart soar with pride. Campfire, Witch, and Riddle. Turning southeastward, Fu and Wraith resumed their journey along a well-worn ox-cart path through the rich volcanic farmlands of the island. Other than a shepherd with his flock, they encountered no travelers, for the hour had grown late and most were already at home, tending to their suppers. Ahead of them and to the south rose the twin peaks, jagged spires of rock that rose high above the lowlands. Mist cloaked their summits, and jungle clothed their bodies. Near the mountain's base, a single campfire glowed, tended by a lone traveler. We must rest soon, Wraith said, and conserve our strength. This stranger might share his fire with us. Could it be? Fu replied anxiously. It's possible, Wraith reasoned. But I don't think that our man would expose himself so boldly, unless, of course, this is a trap. What do you want to do? Follow my lead, stay calm, but be ready to fight or to run. The fire was small and sheltered from the wind by a well-laid ring of stones. Above the flames, 2 large naked hares dangled, roasting and nearly done. A short, squat-looking old hag sat on a log beside the fire. Every so often, she would spin her meal or seek out a better place for it above the flames. Her clothing was plain and ragged, her feet were bare. Surrounded by a sort of pudginess, her face was wide and her hands were active, youthful and nimble. Her eyes were white throughout and seemingly blind. There was nothing at all wrong with her hearing, though, because she sensed them at a considerable distance. Who travels nigh my fire? 2 weary travelers, in need of rest. Where do you hail from, stranger? We have come from Lucheron lands. Oh, that one, the hag muttered. Not far, not far. Come closer. When they had entered into the firelight, she seemed to see them more clearly. Ah, yes, she observed. You are the guild master of Oki, and your apprentice is known to the spirits as Noi Kong Lo Bang, the giant's friend. I know her, Fu asserted. She is a madwoman. We call her the Laughing Witch. She often speaks in riddles. Tending her fire, she pointed the end of her charred stick at him and declared, You may keep no secrets from me, son of Lanu. If you wish to rest, you must not, for your enemy is preparing to meet you as we speak. Sleep tonight and die tomorrow. Run on, and there is a chance that you might live. Wraith was exceptionally tired, his feet especially so. Surely we will fight better if we are rested. Answer this riddle, and I will help you, she replied. His spirit, demon-damned and by Magus saved, a checkered past, one fool's redemption may come at last. Fate may fall. One blow, will change it all. Who am I? How are we supposed to answer that? Fu said. It's all right, Wraith consoled. I already know the answer, and it is me. True, true, she mocked, for it would be easier for you to pass through the eye of a needle than for you to enter into heaven. Save your soul and grasp redemption. You can, Guildmaster, you can. Defeating the assassin is only half the battle, for he waits for you in an abandoned village with 3 of his sisters. Find the spider before his web is complete. Use all your wits or die. And of course the footnote is that I took that line directly from the New King James Version of the Holy Bible. Okay. Why should we believe you, old woman? Fu asked. Heed my words, young fool. By dawn his trap will be complete, and all of your skills will prove useless. Why do you help us? Queen and goddess seek to unravel the tapestry, turn the fates on their heads, and undo all the Maker has done. If they succeed, light will wither, and darkness will reign. A swallow's wings stir the air, and across the world a tornado blows. Wraith stood quietly, contemplating her words. His legs were tired. He was still tough, but his body had not felt the road for over a century, and it demanded rest. Sit for a moment, she urged, while poking at the hairs. They seemed done, and she was pleased. Moving them away from the flame, she explained, These are for you. Eat their flesh, but do not break their bones, for they are special things that will rise again in the light of dawn. They will restore your strength, but I warn you, do not sleep. Reach the abandoned village by dawn, or fail and die. Wraith took up his rabbit and sat by the fire. It seemed fine, and smelled delicious. Pulling a morsel, he tried it. Mark my words, she warned. Break not a bone, or the god's wrath will befall you. Fu joined him, and as they were both respectful men, they did as she commanded. Wraith offered to share his, but she refused. One last warning I leave for you, Guildmaster, she said. When all seems lost, one path will seem to you certain doom, and another salvation. Choose doom and live. Leap for salvation, and you shall breathe nevermore. This task is for you and Fu alone. None will interfere, and none shall help. Run on now, for as the moon has risen, so too shall the dawn. Run! Laughing heartily, she pointed southward and then vanished from sight. An instant there, and then gone. Her fire disappeared in a puff of smoke, leaving only a circle of stones and 2 piles of rabbit's bones. Fu was amazed. Suspicious by nature, his people trusted neither magic nor unnatural things. His fatigue was gone, as if he had feasted and slept for days. Shouldering his gear, he took up his spear. And backed away from the campsite, fully expecting the witch to reappear at any moment. Let us heed her words, Wraith said. Her first promise was true. I feel better now than when I began this journey. I think that I know what she meant by an abandoned village. She must mean the log houses by the lake. Your people haven't lived there since the massacre. It is a place of terrible sadness. My father and I return there every winter to light a fire for them, Fu replied with sorrow. The road is exposed there. If we come at them that way, they will surely see us. What do you suggest? Let us follow the woods along the mountain and cross the river. That's our best chance for surprising them. It will take longer, but it's much safer. If we hurry, we can arrive before sunrise. Lead on, then, Wraith directed. All right, next time we'll begin with the chapter entitled It's a Jungle Out There. Hope you enjoyed episode 14. Thank you for listening. Have a great night.